Ever stop to think about that tiny chip powering the smartphone you're holding right now? Or the one controlling your electric car's acceleration? Even that smart refrigerator that knows exactly when to defrost itself? These seemingly insignificant pieces of silicon actually determine the technological lifeblood of entire nations. In recent years, Chinese chips were nearly strangled by foreign restrictions, pushed to the brink of technological suffocation. But in 2025, China pulled off what many thought impossible, a technological curve overtaking that has left Western competitors absolutely stunned. Imagine this. Li Wei, an ordinary office worker in Shanghai, recently switched to a domestically produced smartphone. What struck him immediately wasn't the camera or the sleek design, it was the blazing fast network performance, streaming high-definition videos without a single buffer, even deep in subway tunnels where signals typically go to die. What Li experienced firsthand was nothing less than the silent revolution of Chinese chip technology, a Jedi counterattack years in the making. To understand how we arrived at this pivotal moment, we need to rewind to the shock of 2019. In May of that year, the United States delivered what was intended to be a crippling blow to Huawei, China's telecommunications champion. When those sanctions hit, chip supplies were severed almost overnight, leaving millions wondering if their premium devices would soon become expensive paperweights. But Huawei's founder, Ren Zhengfei, isn't someone who backs down from a challenge. His response became the rallying cry for an entire industry. Within 5 years, China must eliminate its dependence on American technology and stand on its own feet. What sounded like motivational hyperbole at the time ignited a nationwide mobilization around semiconductor development that few outside observers took seriously. Back then, who could have imagined this spare tire plan would actually succeed? The prevailing wisdom among Western analysts was that China remained at least a decade behind in critical semiconductor technologies. Yet here we are in 2025, with China's chip self-sufficiency rate skyrocketing from a mere 15% to an impressive 40%. Is that data point striking enough to make you sit up straight? It should be. This remarkable turnaround represents thousands of engineers working around the clock, billions in strategic investments, and a national determination that transformed adversity into opportunity. These 5 transformative years weren't spent merely playing catch-up. China was simultaneously laying the groundwork for technological leapfrogging that would soon shock the semiconductor establishment. Did anyone seriously believe Chinese chip development would be content to follow behind foreign competitors, picking up whatever crumbs of technology were left behind? That assumption dramatically underestimated China's capacity for technological innovation under pressure. Take the EUV lithography machine, widely considered the crown jewel of semiconductor manufacturing equipment. Dutch company ASML maintained a stranglehold on this critical technology, refusing to sell its advanced machines to Chinese manufacturers under political pressure. Conventional wisdom said China was permanently locked out of cutting-edge chip manufacturing without access to these machines. But necessity became the mother of invention as Chinese engineers developed alternative approaches like advanced double exposure techniques, quantum dot correction, and 3-dimensional stacking architectures that sounded impossibly futuristic just a few years ago. Even more revolutionary developments were brewing in research labs across China. At Tsinghua University, scientists achieved a breakthrough that could potentially redefine the semiconductor industry itself: single-walled carbon nanotube transistors. By 2023, these experimental chips were demonstrating processing speeds 8 times faster than traditional silicon, with electron mobility that made conventional semiconductors look like they were standing still. As Professor Wei Xiaojun boldly declared, carbon-based is the future, silicon-based is the past. Does this technological narrative sound thrilling? It should, because we're witnessing not just incremental improvements, but a fundamental shift in the global semiconductor landscape. China has executed a strategic pivot from catching up to potentially leading in next-generation chip technologies that will power everything from artificial intelligence to quantum computing. Speaking of semiconductor leadership, we must acknowledge the unsung heroes who laid the foundations decades ago. 20 years back in Pudong, Shanghai, a visionary named Richard Chang established SMIC from absolute zero. At that time, China's chip manufacturing capabilities were practically non-existent, a blank canvas waiting for the first brushstrokes of innovation. Chang brought with him a technical team from Taiwan, and by 2004 had mastered the 0.18 micron process, putting Chinese chips on the international map for the first time. Though Chang eventually departed following legal complications, the seeds he planted took root in Chinese soil. Fast forward to 2025, and those seeds have blossomed into 7-nanometer manufacturing capabilities that compete with global leaders. Isn't this the perfect embodiment of predecessors planted trees so descendants could enjoy the shade? The semiconductor revolution we're witnessing today stands on the shoulders of these invisible pioneers who dared to dream when everyone else dismissed China's chip ambitions. Meanwhile, look at what's happening with Japan's once dominant Nikon. In March 2024, they made the painful announcement in Tokyo that development of their EUV lithography systems would be suspended indefinitely. Both funding and technological progress had fallen hopelessly behind. How dramatically the tables have turned from their glory days. Simultaneously, Shanghai Microelectronics has achieved a stunning 98% localization rate for their 28-nanometer lithography machines, catapulting them into industry leadership positions previously unimaginable. Japanese media outlets have reluctantly acknowledged that China is now attacking from a higher dimension, a tacit admission that the competitive landscape has fundamentally shifted. Market share data tells the stark story. Japan's lithography machine market share has plummeted below 10%, while China's continues its meteoric rise. Doesn't this reversal of fortune feel almost poetic? Though, as any wise observer would note, China cannot afford complacency. This technological marathon has many miles yet to run. Beyond these industry shakeups, the real magic happens when advanced chips transform everyday experiences. Take BYD's breakthrough in 2022 at their Shenzhen facility, with IGBT chips boasting efficiency ratings of 99.2%, securing global patents that leapfrogged Germany's Infineon. The tangible result? Electric vehicles with dramatically improved range. Zhang Wei, a BYD driver, finds himself driving 100 kilometers more between charges. Isn't that both money-saving and anxiety-reducing for the average consumer? The revolution extends to quantum and photonic chips, names that sound pulled from science fiction, yet have quietly infiltrated China's telecommunications infrastructure. Liu Hao, an avid online gamer, recently found himself asking, "Why is my internet suddenly so responsive? Team battles have zero lag." Little does he realize his improved gaming experience stems directly from domestically produced advanced chips powering the network backbone. Industry experts project these cutting-edge chips will reach 20% market penetration by year-end 2025. Hearing this forecast, don't you feel the future accelerating toward us? This semiconductor transformation represents more than technological independence. It's elevating the daily lives of ordinary citizens, from mobile experiences to transportation, healthcare to entertainment. The benefits are tangible and widespread. After all, isn't improving people's lives the ultimate purpose of technological advancement? China's journey from neck-choking dependence to technological self-sufficiency illustrates a fundamental truth. Innovation thrives under pressure. This isn't merely about national pride or geopolitical positioning. It's about creating homegrown solutions that improve lives while building resilient technological ecosystems. The microchip may be invisibly small, but China's semiconductor ambitions are unmistakably grand. In this high-stakes game of technological leapfrogging, China is pursuing not just current capabilities, but future leadership, writing the next chapters of the global technology narrative with silicon, carbon, and unwavering determination.